You are probably writing object-oriented code in Java, but you are doing it very wrong. Here is the truth. The most Java developer, even the most experienced one, break the key objects-oriented principles without realizing it. In this video, I will show you 3 simple but the most powerful rules that will instantly level up your Java skills. So stick around because the rule number 2 alone could save you the hours of debugging in your real world project. Let us check the first rule, that is encapsulation, going to be done in the right way. So encapsulation is not just about writing the private variables, it is about writing and controlling the access, also preserving the internal state. So look at this, we have a very bad code way to write it. So we have written a public class with the user having the public username and the age. So these are accessible, these are exposing the internal state directly. So here you are exposing the internal state, so anyone can change it without checking the logic. Let's look at the good way to write it. The same class, what you have to define here is that you have to define a class, you have to mark them as private over here, you have to define the getter setter, and the setter you can define some specific logic over here. In this way you can enforce some rules like there is no negative age. This can be very clean, very safe, and an object oriented design. Rule number 2, favor composition over inheritance. Now you have to favor composition over inheritance because inheritance can lead to a very tight coupling, and it is also a very fragile way of writing the code. So let me show you, let me take an example of an inheritance which is very going to be the bad example. So in this you will see there is a class animal which is having a eat method over here. Then we have a dog class which is going to extend the animal, and it has got a void bark method over here. What if the dog need different eating logic other than the one what we have written? So what you will end up overriding the everything whatever it is there, or the worst case you are trying to duplicate it. So this is one bad way to write that. Instead of that, what you can do, you can use the composition which is much better. Now instead of this you will write that you will class having as an eating behavior which you will have a void eat method over there. Then the dog class, instead of extending it, it will have a composition object, that is eating behavior over there, and the dog instructor will be initializing it with the new variable over there. So the void bark method and the eat method, you can have your own implementation over here. Now the dog can use this eating behavior, it can swap if it is required, it is quite flexible, and more importantly it is testable over here. Let us look at the rule number 3, code to interface, not implementation. Now this is quite important. If you are trying to code to interfaces and not on the core classes, there is a better and a good coding principles which you are following about. So it is a foundation of decoupling, so scalable system. Now let us look at the bad example. You have an order class where it says like in the private payment processor, and you are initializing with the PayPal processor over here. Now order service is going to depend on this one specific payment only because you are actually hard coding it over here. The better way is using the interfaces. So you have to define a root interface, and you can define some specific method inside it, and you can actually use this particular order services to create that variable and also initialize with the help of the constructor over here. Now you can inject any processor over here, maybe it's PayPal, maybe it's Stripe, tomorrow there can be anything else which has been added. So you are not restricted, and you are also not breaking that particular or modifying that particular class every now and then. So you can also mock for the testing, which is very easy. So this is quite flexible, testable, and also very clean approach to writing the object oriented way. So let us recap what we have discussed. So the very first thing what we have discussed is encapsulation. So you are trying to protect your data in using the encapsulation way. We already discussed how you can use it. Second is composition. So you can keep your code very flexible. So that's how we also discussed the rule number 2. Then comes the interface. So make your system much more modular using with interfaces over there instead of on the concrete classes. So if you are applying these particular 3 principles, your Java code instantly become cleaner and much more maintainable. If this has helped you clear up your oops logic and oops concept for you, hit the like button, also subscribe it. I got more Java deep dive videos coming soon on this. Also check out my channel for more such videos. I have broad list of topics like Java, Spring Boot, microservices, interview question series. So watch out my channel. Also comment below which oops mistake you have made before and what rule has helped you the most today.